week I complained about Taiwan a little bit, or at least I talked about the things that I wish I could change. But to be honest, my life here in Taiwan is a lot better than it is in Canada. So today, I'm going to take you out on my day, show you all the reasons why living in Taiwan is better than living in Canada, at least for me. Also, check this out. My friend Misto gave this to me. It's like photos of our time in China back when I was a young, good-looking boy. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch it out. We'll take it in the motorcycle. Come on, it's a nice day for it. Already in Canada, I probably wouldn't even be able to do this right now. If it was winter time in Canada, I would have already slipped on ice and died. R.I.P. Just like that, you're dead. You know, because you can't even ride a motorcycle most months of the year in Canada because you won't be insured because of the snow. But I get to ride my motorcycle all year round in Taiwan. It's that kind of do anything you want attitude that I love in Taiwan. Now, obviously, you can't ride a motorcycle all year round in Canada because it's not safe. The weather doesn't permit it. But I imagine there would still be Taiwanese people who ride scooters even if it snowed. It's just a huge part of life here. And it's also the fact that I just get on my bike or my scooter, I can choose, and it's so convenient. It's so easy just to hop on, turn the key, and go. Living in Canada, you must have a car.
Oh shit, oh shit!
I tell this to Taiwanese people all the time because I get questions from them. You know, I want to move to Canada, what should I know, what's different? And one of the biggest differences is owning a car. You have to have a car. Oh my... Just like all these people with cars that shouldn't have cars, this guy decided to park right on the side of the road where there's no space. You know, one thing I noticed about Canada when I go home to visit is that most people, most of the time, just choose one place to go per day, and that's it. That's all you really have time for, and it's because Canada is such a car-centric area. I mean, earlier this morning, I went and got my coffee. I just walked out my door. It's literally like a 60-second walk to the coffee shop, and I can have a coffee. I don't have to make it at home. It's because everything is so far away in Canada, and it's because everyone has to have a car that most things that you do at home. You just stay home. You cook at home. You get coffee at home. You exercise at home. Anything that you can do in your house, most people will do in their house, because why would you go out? It's going to take so much time. Canada's a harsh country. It's lovely, don't get me wrong. I should have started this video by saying that. There's nothing particularly devastating about living in Canada. It's a great place to grow up. I feel very fortunate that I grew up there. But I just mean that the weather is very harsh, very unforgiving, and that plays a huge part of our lives as Canadians. And that's why I also think that a lot of Taiwanese people, when they move to Canada, will move to Vancouver, where it doesn't snow so much. And that's why Vancouver is so expensive, because everyone wants to live there, because the climate is so much more mild than the rest of the country. But if you're a Taiwanese person who doesn't move to Vancouver and you live pretty much anywhere else in Canada, I don't know that Taiwanese people would last a very long time, because they're just so surprised about how harsh the climate is. And of course, I do have to mention that Canada is an enormous country. It is huge. So I'm generalizing. There's going to be someone from, like, I don't know, Lynn Lake in northern Manitoba or some really weird place where it's very different. And they're going to be commenting saying, well, Prozzy, I live here and it's not like that in all of Canada. I know. Canada is a huge country. It's huge. Everywhere is different. But I think that one thing that most Canadians, like 95% of all Canadians, probably more, can agree with is that our climate is harsh. I think as Canadians we can all agree with that, unless you're in Vancouver. That gym is called Holy Fit. Lately I've been finding that a lot of Taiwanese businesses have been opening with really clever names in English. Like just yesterday I saw a fried chicken shop called I'm So Gay. Because I'm so gay in English sounds like the word for fried chicken in Taiwanese. So that's actually making it a genius name for your business. And there's no like, oh my god, why would you cross the street now? There's no restrictions on like what you can name your business, I don't think, in English. So you can kind of name it whatever. It gets really expensive parking here, but I can't park with the regular scooters because I have a bigger motorcycle. Ugh, it just makes everything more expensive. There is always a line at that tea shop that I went to, and I never go there because I hate standing in lines. But Taiwanese people love making lines and standing in lines, so today I thought, in the spirit of this video, I'll wait in line and try this barley with corn tea. It looks like they partnered with the Green Giant and made a corn tea. It's another thing that Taiwanese people really love that's weird. Corn.
I really like cone.
Honestly, that's amazing. That's weirdly good. I've been trying to learn how to draw, and I'm really bad at it. So today I tried to draw my camera. That's what you look like. I'm absolute ass at drawing.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
But I've only just started. I've only done like a landscape thing. That's something I used to teach the kids just for fun. And I drew my hands, which I think I didn't do a bad job for my first time ever drawing hands. But I am really bad at drawing, so that's why, I don't know, I'm just trying to learn. That's the lifestyle here in Taiwan. It allows me to have time to do stuff like this. I'm not stressed out over work because I have my own business. I run my own YouTube channel. So I'm able to take the time to do this, and that's huge. But that doesn't mean that I have completely abandoned my own culture, my own traditions. Taiwan still lets me have somewhat of a Western lifestyle here as well. I was on my way to show you guys my next point, but I was hoping I'd find some trash on the way, and I didn't, and now I just have to put this in my bag until I find the trash that's full of corn. I'm gonna get my computer and my book all wet. I love Taiwan though. Life in Taiwan's great. Maybe we could do with some more public trash bins, but there he is.
Not every Wednesday, but most Wednesdays, my friends and I go out for wing night, which is something we do often where I'm from. My family and friends in Canada have a spot they go to for wings every once in a while, and it's nice to be able to do something that keeps a small part of my Western life going.
But yeah, that doesn't mean that I don't live a Taiwanese life. I still speak Mandarin in everyday life. I still hang out with a few of my Taiwanese friends. It's just nice to have a little bit of that touch of home. That's what's really great about Taiwan, is it's not just Taiwanese stuff, you know? Taiwanese people also really like to eat foreign food and partake in other cultures too. They're not so wrapped up in their own thing. When I was in university, I moved out of my parents' house to a place called Vanier. Vanier was kind of a rougher part of Ottawa. Not too bad. I mean, it wasn't like, you know, Compton or Detroit or bad parts of Chicago or anything like that. It was just kind of a rougher area, and it was the first time I'd ever lived in an area that was like less than middle class, but it's the only place I could afford. I mean, I was in university, I had no money. All right, out we go again. Because when I was in university, in fact, throughout pretty much my whole life, I've always liked going for walks or for runs. When I did that in Vanier, I would with some consistency get stopped. I would get accosted by random people on the street. And usually they'd be just asking, you know, for crack or heroin or something, or even purchase if I had a cigarette, you know, while I'm out for a run. As a 20-year-old who grew up in a middle-class neighborhood of Ottawa, moving to this rougher neighborhood really shocked me. Walking around Vanier just felt a little bit dangerous. I didn't really like being accosted by strangers or seeing drug dealers behind the grocery stores and stuff, and so I moved out of there pretty quick. I decided that I did not want to live in an environment like that. By the way, check out the view behind me on my walk. Quite nice. Got the city down there. And yeah, and it never really dawned on me that, until I decided to make this video, that Taiwan has none of that. Taiwan, I'm never worried walking around in Taiwan. People generally leave you alone. They may come up and ask you where you're from, welcome to Taiwan, but friendly stuff, you know? No one here is gonna randomly approach you and ask you for drugs. Beautiful! It's nice of them, getting called beautiful by a bunch of locals. See that? Really? Or ask you if you want some drugs. I'm not saying that no one does drugs in Taiwan. Some people do in private. The devil's lettuce, if you know what I mean, and a bit of ketamine. That's the drugs of choice, I think, for most Taiwanese people. But you definitely don't see it on the street. It's mostly done by gangsters behind closed doors. Growing up in Canada in a nice neighborhood and then moving to a not so nice neighborhood, I grew kind of used to it, and I thought, I could handle myself in rougher neighborhoods.
But it wasn't until, you know, my friend who lives in Canada told me that she took her kid to the grocery store. There was someone like shooting something into their arm with a needle behind the grocery store. She just felt so like, I don't know, unsafe, a little gross. Like that's where she's has to raise her kid, and I don't have to worry about any of that in Taiwan. And it's one of those underrated things, I think, that I think some people think about. I just never did. It's this whole environment that makes me feel really safe in Taiwan. I go on walks all the time, and I'm always worried about getting hit by a car. Obviously, this path wasn't the smartest. I discovered this path not too long ago in the daytime. I didn't realize how dark it got at nighttime, so I shouldn't really be here. It's too dark, and I don't want to get hit by a car. So, you know, socially, Taiwan is safe, but from like traffic and stuff, it's actually quite unsafe. Light, please. There we go. In Canada, everything is done to a certain standard. Everything is done to a degree of professionalism. Everything is done precisely. If you haven't cut your grass on your lawn in too long, someone's gonna say something. If you painted your garage and used the wrong type of paint, someone's gonna say something. It's very like finicky, very nitpicky, and it's almost like a source of bonding. Like I think I can say this because I'm half French Canadian. French Canadians love complaining. They love bitching and moaning to the point where I think they actually get along by complaining to each other about things. Oh, this tape wasn't taken off the wall properly. Like there will be Canadians that will complain about that.
Right to jail.
But here in Taiwan, doesn't matter. Nothing matters. It's all good. Like I love this attitude in Taiwan where it's like just relax, live your life, you know, take it easy. It's an easy life. It's an easy. It's not an easy life, but it's an easygoing life. People here are super easygoing. You don't have to care.
Yeah, so I would say the affordability, the accessibility of life in Taiwan allows me to be able to live the life that I do as a YouTuber here. I don't know that I would really be able to do that in Canada just because of the way things are there. Like I said, you know, getting to and from work is usually going to take you a long time. And your wages are higher in Taiwan, but the cost of living in Canada is also much higher. I can live really frugally here in Taiwan, and I do. I don't earn a lot of money from YouTube, admittedly, but that's okay because I don't spend a lot, and I have that option here. Whereas I feel like in Canada, even if you don't buy a lot of things, if you live frugally in Canada, you probably wouldn't be able to do what I do, unless of course you are a better YouTuber, which, you know, there's that. I love my life here in Taiwan. I think it's better than my life in Canada. Not that my life in Canada was all that bad. There are things that are better in Canada. You know, like the air is clean. You're not gonna get lung cancer at 40 or whatever. You know, there are of course things that Canada does better than Taiwan. But for the most part, I just love the easygoing lifestyle that I have here. And I'm super happy. I have a really hard time giving it up. I'm not going to give it up. I've thought about moving to other places or going to other places, but it's just like, how could I pass up this lifestyle? It's just so relaxing here. But anyways, guys, that is it for me. I hope you enjoyed this little vlog. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Have you been to Canada or Taiwan? What are your thoughts? Maybe you can compare it to your home country. Let me know. Other than that, stay positive, keep your stick on the ice, and I'll catch you guys next week for another video.